Coming to you live on location, this is the Between the Benches podcast, where we will discuss anything and everything hockey related. Let's drop the puck and get the action underway. All right, everybody, welcome into another episode of the Between the Benches podcast. We are brought to you by Old City Sports Network. Make sure to check out oldcitysports.com for all your favorite Philadelphia podcasts, articles, blogs, and everything else in between. You can use the promo code OldCity for 15% off site-wide at that merch store. We are revamping ours as we speak, so hopefully that'll be available in the next week or so. We shifted to a different partner, but that's neither here nor there. That's a little behind the scenes. So as always, it's your boy Dak. Hope everybody is enjoying their, what is today? Wednesday? My days are all screwed up. Hope everybody's enjoying their Wednesday. Hopefully this will come out Wednesday, if not first thing Thursday morning. So hope we're enjoying the hockey. As always, I've got the fellas. I've got the Canadian tandem, if you will, of Graham Fa and Big Canada Daddy Brock Finch. Fellas, how are we doing?
Gang's all here.
Nice. Okay. We're trying to beat nap time, I think, is what I was told. So
yeah, we'll have a countdown going on the side of the screen.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Brock, are you okay? You've been crying?
No.
You want to talk about it?
It's right.
Are you that mad that Warner's going to leave?
No. It feels so much worse than it looks. If you're watching this video, my face looks way less balloon than it feels. I'll tell you that. Like way less. I'm happy to be here.
Well, hopefully either way, we're glad that you're here to play. You're buckling in the lineup, if you will. It will. We'll get to some hockey action. We'll get to some hockey talk here. So the first thing we will let's go around the rink, shall we? And Around the Rink is sponsored by IronSteelThreads.com. Make sure to check out all the great merch they have: hoodies, shirts, t-shirts, everything else in between. They do have new designs every month. They're made here in the States, and you can use the promo code OldCity10 for 10% off. And part of your proceeds will be kicked back to local hockey youth organizations. So people helping people. Fellas, first thing up, I don't know if you guys heard this the other day, but Tj Oshie announced his retirement. So he was the 24th overall pick in the 2005 draft. He played a little over 1,000 games, 10 to be exact. It was for the Capitals and the Blues. 2018 Stanley Cup champion. Most famous, probably most known for his shootout sequence in the 2014 Winter Olympics against Sergei Bobrovsky. I don't know if you guys remember that little 8-round
very much
back and forth they had. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, his total career, he had 695 points, 302 goals, 393 assists, and he bid farewell in a social media video I thought was pretty cool, where he was seen in the locker room basically taking his skates off and kind of acknowledged it for the last time. So I guess the first question I had that came to mind when he announced it, is he a future Hall of Famer?
I don't know the exact eligibility to get into the Hall of Fame. When I think of Tj Oshie, I don't see the Hall of Fame beside his name. I think he's obviously had a great career, ultimately winning the Cup with Washington. He's one that, he's the hockey player you want on your team. He's physical. He gets it done. He's a locker room guy. No one doesn't want him in the room. And right now, with this company, War Road, it's a lot about player safety and protection. We've seen a lot of instances where skate blades come up in the air and they injure guys and maybe worse. So
they have killed
So his company is creating equipment to end that entirely. Neck guards and any place this is exposed to try and protect them. So yeah, his heart's still in the game. It just shows to the character he is and the career that he's had.
100% growing the game.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, Dak.
Yeah.
Alexander McGillney has 990 career games played with 1,032 points. Less games played, more points. He is not in the Hockey Hall of Fame currently.
Oh,
so I believe so. I'm not 100% certain on that, but that is a fair question. I'm just saying, like, you're talking about career performance from, a stats perspective.
Right.
I don't think Tj Oshie will ever be considered for the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Okay. Like I said, I just thought it'd be a good question to ask because he's kind of got a little bit of the highlights, especially like I said, kind of the shootout memories, a little bit more probably international play is what he's known for as opposed to actually NHL play. But still, I think he's up there top in like shooting percentage and like shootout goals as well. So depends on what you favor and kind of probably recency bias more than anything. So,
Sure.
But he did announce it. Did want to give him his flowers a little bit. The next thing up that was announced, Lane Hutson caps off his remarkable rookie season, taking home the Calder Trophy in 82 games this season for the Montreal Canadiens. He had 66 total points, tallying 6 goals and 60 assists, which I'll break down here in just a second because that was a couple records he took home there as well. But the thing that I found fascinating is he had 35 even strength assists. He had 25 power play assists. Average time on ice was a little under 23 minutes at 22:44. He did lead all rookies this year in assists, and he also tied the NHL single season record for a rookie defenseman set by Larry Murphy with those 60 apples. He broke the Canadiens rookie defenseman record for assists and points in a season, passing Chris Chelios. So anytime you're breaking any of Chelios' records, you got to be doing something right. And then he also became with Lane Hutson winning the Calder. This is fascinating, guys. Let me know if you knew this or not. But the Canadiens became the first team in history to have the NHL and a KHL rookie on the same team in the same season. So first initial reaction to Lane Hutson winning the Calder. Nice.
I mean, the kid's obviously great. What do you mean? What do you mean?
That feels so insulting. Like, why? Like,
well, it's obviously, I felt like it was a 2-horse race between Celebrini and Hutson.
Oh, not even Dustin Wolf, eh?
I was going to say, Dustin Wolf has entered the chat.
He finished second, by the way.
As he should. I thought Dustin Wolf should have won, personally.
I had a future on it.
I just think when you think of rookie seasons in skaters and what they put up points wise, like think of Jack Hughes, think of like McKinnon. These guys, they don't usually come out the gate swinging, or when they do, they're limited on ice time, so their points don't show or properly reflect how good they really are. And Hutson, when he got that power play, like he should have had it from the very beginning. And like think about how great we thought that was it Matheson on that power play was?
Yeah,
he was.
No, it was Hutson the whole time. Like it should have been Hutson from the very beginning. Like he is elusive. He protects himself. He's a small kid, but he protects himself very well. He's not physical, but he does not put himself in dangerous areas, and he still finishes the play. I think he's up there with one of the NHL's best defensemen in terms of the size or undersize. And yeah, to see him get the trophy, because a lot of people say it. Defensemen don't get the Calder as much. It's a lot more rare.
Yeah, some people do say that, especially if they have
some people have said that a lot.
No, the kid impressed me. Not only the regular season, the playoffs. I thought he had a great series against Washington too. So all situations, kudos to him.
And your size factor too. He's listed at 5'9" and 162 pounds. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, so he definitely has got time to grow into his stature a little bit. Hopefully he's going to put on 20 to 30 pounds, in his career. We'll see.
We'll see.
So, Brock, anything else to add to that?
No, I think that's pretty well said. Aside from the opening, where it seems like you're pouring cold water on his accomplishment, but that's just me. No, everything is well said there. Did you mention isn't there a stat that he's like the first defenseman in Montreal to do like the amount of assists that he had or something like that? There's a crazy stat that in Montreal, because there's been so many great players.
Yeah, he broke the Canadiens rookie defenseman record for assists and points in a season. Yeah, that was the Chris
that breaks my brain. Like that. Yeah, that's craziness.
And the fact that the Montreal Canadiens have been around since 1917, like they've been around for over 100 years. Yeah.
And they have all those cups, all those great teams, and not once a rookie has done what Lane Hutson has done.
Yeah. In all different eras.
Crazy.
High scoring eras, low scoring eras.
Crazy. Yeah, that's the only thing that absolutely broke my brain.
So shout out to Lane Hutson. Definitely one of the up and coming D-men and just overall players in this league.
Canadians in general.
Yeah, Canadians are on the up and up. And like I said, him and Dimmadov, I thought that was a fascinating stat. That's probably something we'll never see again with the AHL and KHL Rookie of the Years on the same team at the same time. So in the same season, I guess, because I'm sure that's happened before, but not in the same season. So, but yes. Anyway, so the other couple other awards that came out, we had Spencer Carberry taking home the Jack Adams. So shout out to Spencer. He was obviously he's the head coach of the Washington Capitals in his second season. He led the Capitals to a 51-22-9 record. Fun stat for you: Carberry officially became the first individual to earn Coach of the Year honors in the NHL, AHL, and the ECHL. So this man has been a top contender or top coach everywhere he's been. And my only question to you guys is: Carberry officially on the clock to be the head coach somewhere else, because the Jack Adams Award has shown to be the recent kiss of death? Dallas Stars? Question mark.
We've talked about why we think that is in the past and how silly we think that is, but
I don't think the carousel is going to stop. There's no job security in this league.
I don't think Spencer Carberry's going anywhere, though. Like, I think he's fine. Like, unless they for some reason think this year was repeatable. Like, I wouldn't expect like these exact results next year. Like, I think they're a playoff team, but they're not going to contend for the President's Trophy next year. I think that a little bit of this was some magic, and it's not necessarily because of the coach. Like, I don't think that's going to cost him his job anytime soon. Personally, that's just what I think.
Graham, anything to add to that?
I mean, we're still caught by surprise of what the Capitals were doing this year. We always expected them to slow down. We expect them to slow down in the playoffs. We never really hopped on the train, but they proved us wrong time and time again.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that has to do with Spencer Carberry, especially comparing them to the previous season, where they were just kind of, the last man to make the playoffs, and, you had your 4 games and you were done, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, kudos
100%.
to him. Kudos to the Capitals. I'm curious what they do next year. Again, I'm not sold, but if they do it again, maybe I hop on board.
Yeah. Well, they definitely needed a bump in scoring going from the previous year to this past season. And they were second this past season in goals for with 286 out of 32 teams. So that's pretty good there. The strength of schedule was kind of in their favor. They played technically the 26th easiest schedule out of 32 teams. So the fascinating thing was they were plus 6,600 to win the Stanley Cup preseason. So if you had a futures ticket, you maybe could have cashed in, when the playoffs started, and maybe got a little bit of a payout there. So just speaks to obviously the expectation, how he was able to kind of overcome that. Over under was set at 89.5 points. So they blew that out of the water. So definitely surprised.
They seem like one of the most fun teams to watch.
Yeah. Between the style of play, the goal chase, everything else.
You have Ovi, you have everyone on that team on board with the chase as well.
Yeah.
They're making it a part of history at the same time. And they're not selfish at all. They want him to get as much as he can while he can. They want to win. It's not like they're just sacrificing wins for getting Ovi the goals. They're like, no, Ovi's going to score, and we're going to be at the top of the league.
100%.
I think you got to have a great room for no ego in that way.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's a great point. That's definitely a great point. And I think he's the glue. Honestly, I think he's the glue that brings everybody together. Like, everybody seems to love that, him as a person and as a hockey player. So he sets the tone, if you will. Speaking of
one interview with Ovechkin.
Literally.
Watch one.
If he's quoting Juicy J, for God's sake. I mean, how can you not love him?
Dance make her dance.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of dancing, a couple hours ago we got told that Cale Makar is going to be winning the Norris Trophy, or he did win the Norris Trophy. So just a quick highlight on him. It is the second time in his career he has won the Norris Trophy. The first time was dating back to 2021-2022 season. He had 92 points in 80 games this past season. That's 30 goals and 62 assists. That's also back-to-back 90-point seasons for him, which is insane.
Is that good?
That's unbelievable. He had 14 PIMs in 80 games, which I thought was a really interesting stat. He's never really ever in the box, which I guess that would be a bad thing depending on the context. But he also had a plus 28 rating, and he became the first defenseman to tally 30 goals in a single season since Mike Green back in 08-09. He's also just the 5th defenseman all-time to record back-to-back 90-point campaigns, also joining Paul Coffey and Al McInnes. And then also with those 30 goals scored, he is that was the first time in franchise history for goals by a defenseman in a single season. So it was the franchise record. And then he also became the 9th defenseman in NHL history to tally 30 goals in a season. So, Graham, I know you are a resident Blue Jackets homer. Zach Rowinski did finish 2nd. Can I get a round of applause for Cale Makar, please?
Absolutely.
Nice.
It's a great year. When you think of NHL defenseman who's at the top, it's Cale Makar. Around the league, it doesn't come as a surprise. He's obviously great. He's like a rover. Like he's a 4th forward, but so defensively sound without being overly physical. He doesn't take penalties. He doesn't put himself and his team shorthanded. He is just a weapon. He is fast, elusive, creative, everything you expect a top defenseman in the NHL to be.
And his stature, he's only 6 foot and 187 pounds. I only say 6 foot.
Might be generous.
Yeah, I was going to say, he looks a little smaller when he's out there on the ice.
Like his hair a little extra high.
Yeah, might be generous.
Yeah, probably every bit of 5'10".
I think it skates off for that one.
I've seen one person on this podcast stand on their tippy toes with a measuring tape behind them, but I won't know names.
Yeah, I was gonna say you shouldn't.
Or where the measuring tape was.
Or where the measuring tape was. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, shout out to Cale Makar. Just a great season overall. Unfortunately, didn't end the way they wanted to, but still a great player. I'm sure we'll see them back. Maybe, right? We'll see them back. Will we? The Colorado Avalanche.
Yes, we'll see them back. Yes.
Are we sure? Are we sure? Anyway, I think we can debate that one.
Brock and I are sure.
I was going to say, I think I'm pretty sure on this.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, speaking of being sure and being back, we have the 2025 Calder Cup finals are set, fellas, in the AHL. It's going to feature the Charlotte Checkers against the Abbotsford Canucks. That series does begin on Friday, June 13th. Just to highlight a couple players, the Canucks are led by Linus Karlsson. He is a right winger. He has 17 total points in the playoffs so far, 9 goals, 8 assists, and he's really been carrying the load for them. He has scored 9 goals, as I mentioned, but no other player on their team has scored more than 5 goals in the postseason. So he's been obviously carrying the load. And then our boy Shelobs, he is 12-5 with a 1.94 goals against and a .925 save percentage with 5 shutouts. So he needs one more shutout to tie that AHL record. If you checked out last week's episode, we brought that to you from a stat. And then the Checkers, just to highlight as well, John Leonard has been playing really well for the Checkers. He has 10 points in 12 games at 6 goals, 4 assists. And then I'm sure you guys know this name, Capo Kakinen. He's playing really well with the Checkers. He's 10-2 with a 1.73 goals against and a .927 save percentage with a shutout. Fun stat as well. He hasn't given up more than 2 goals since May 21st. So he's been playing really well, really consistent, which this time of year, that's what you're looking for. And then just a fun stat. Obviously, the Checkers are the Panthers affiliate, and the Canucks are obviously the Canucks affiliate. If you couldn't put that one together, no big deal. But the AHL and NHL sweep, the last time it was done was 1995. Can anybody tell me the organization that pulled off that feat?
Who is not the Toronto Maple Leafs?
That is correct. It is not the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's just mean. So 91-92 was Pittsburgh. 90, it wasn't the Rangers, was it? I think they were a bit later in the 90s.
No, that is not correct.
All right, I have mine.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking Devils.
That is correct. It was the New Jersey Devils. So it's only been done 3 times in history. It was done in back-to-back years in 1976 and 1977 by the Montreal Canadiens, and then most recently done in 1995 by the New Jersey Devils. So I think they're the Rivermen or the River Rats, I think is their AHL affiliate. So shout out to them. Shout out to the AHL guys. Do you guys have any pull in that series whatsoever?
No. I mean, I'd like to see just the Florida teams do it.
I think it'd be fun.
No, Edmonton's got to win for the narrative. It's going to happen.
Oh, man. All right, well, Speaking of narratives, that's a great segue. We will go ahead and dive into the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh boy!
And the Florida Panthers are currently leading the series 2-1. This segment, is sponsored by decalsbyaaron.com. Make sure to check out decalsbyaaron.com. Let him know that Between the Benches sent you and everything else in between. But fellas, we saw a 6-1 shellacking the other night. Yeah. Honestly, it looked like a boxing match more than anything after the first two periods.
The second half of the game, yes. The second half of the game.
100%. So in case you missed game one, obviously Edmonton took an overtime. Game two belonged to Florida in double overtime. The Oilers tied up just a quick fact on game two. The Oilers tied up game two. Corey Perry scored the latest tying goal in Stanley Cup history at 1942. So 18 seconds left in the game. That is the new Stanley Cup Finals latest tying goal. Didn't matter. It is pretty crazy. Yeah. Still didn't win the game. Florida has won 2 straight. Obviously, they're going to play game 4, I believe, Thursday. So tomorrow. Is it Thursday or Friday? I think it's Thursday. It is Thursday night in Florida. Is it a must-win or a can't-lose for Edmonton?
Next question.
I hate you so
much. Thoughts on the series so far, gentlemen?
You or me, Graham?
Brock.
So the first 2 games, you could have cut. The margins were as razor thin. You needed a magnifying glass to spot the differences between those 2 teams. And then game 3 happened. Oh boy. I don't know how to put into words just how ridiculously good this Florida Panthers team is. Because what they did to the Edmonton Oilers in game 3, I did not think was possible with a team that has Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on it. I think Barkov's hurt. There was a stat, I think, going into that game, it's probably changed since they scored 6 goals, that Barkov was -9 in their previous 4 games, and they were, 3-1 in those 2 games or something like that, or the 4 games. It's mind-boggling to me that that Barkov is playing hurt and they're still just absolutely dominating the way they are. Sam Bennett's going to win the Conn Smythe. At this point, I don't see how he loses it if he continues playing like this. He's scoring a goal every game. What are we talking about? I don't understand how he. And then after he does that, he'll sign for $7 million on a fucking 5-year deal in Florida and make us all mad. It's fucking happening. It's happening. But I digress. That game, like I said, tale of 2 tapes. The first half of the game, Florida seemed to just be pushing all the right buttons to annoy the Oilers. They looked frustrated. There's actually a couple of clips where you can see McDavid visibly frustrated in that game, and then the back half as well. That's what any good team does apparently these days. You got to take literally a chunk or a piece of your opponent with you in the loss, because what was there, 140 penalty minutes or something?
That is correct. 140 combined penalty minutes. That's the 4th most in Stanley Cup history. Crazy. So just in case, Florida got 11 power plays, by the way, in game 3, including 4 of them in the first period.
Edmonton couldn't stay out of the box. It wasn't even like the rest were going out of their way or anything. No, you watch, it's Edmonton, what the fuck are you doing? There was, I think it was the 3rd or 4th one in the first period. They had, it was just stupid. I wish I could remember names specifically.
Evander Kane, high stick, Brad Marchand. That was a silly one.
Oh, so many silly ones. So many silly ones.
They're all penalties you call, though.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
there's not a lot of judgment calls by the referees or officiating. When you see those kind of penalties, they're called every time.
Yeah,
I will say this: if you got a stick in somebody's face these playoffs, it has been called very consistently. Even the embellishing ones, they've tried to get them back for those, but the idea of getting the stick into the face, it's been a penalty 9 times out of 10 these playoffs. So at least there's some consistency.
Speaking of the embellishment one, Graham, did you see Bob get hit in that goaltender interference?
Oh,
man. He was in the WWE, man. He did a great. That was a great bump.
Come on,
yeah, great bump basically. But Graham, do you notice the difference in physicality in that game? Because I just noticed that Florida only had 26 hits, which is their lowest total this postseason. And they only had 26 hits total in the game.
I mean, they were already in Edmonton's head. Normally it's the Paul Maurice way where if you got the lead or you're going to lose, you take the chunk.
Right.
You make sure that they're bruised up for the next one. And it just seemed like they were trying to just keep possession and avoid the hits. And then Trent Frederick breaks his stick on the back of Sam Bennett.
Oh, man.
Which a fucking rattiest thing. You could like suspension. I don't care.
It won't be. It won't be because this league's a joke. Like it won't be.
Like just ridiculous.
Yeah,
what they do. Like I understand you get your like we said,
you get your pound of flesh.
But you have to do it the right way.
Gotcha.
Well, if you're using a weapon to do it and you're breaking over someone's back, and Bennett still even had the upper hand in the little tussle they had.
Yeah.
Bennett's 100%. Not exactly a pushover.
No, I know, but
for a guy that couldn't do a pull-up at the combine when he was drafted, he looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah, I still wouldn't get
imagine Sam Bennett's number 97 on the Oilers.
Oh, I'm well aware.
What gets called then?
This is my point. This is
You're
why
talking about the Conn Smythe winner. And Sam Bennett.
I've argued this ad nauseum. Graham, you're starting to sound like me 3 years ago when it comes to calling penalties in the playoffs. I just want them to fucking call the rules. Just call the fucking rules, man. And they won't. They never do. They don't. I've accepted it. I'm over it.
Wow. So as far as Graham puts your coaching hat on, as far as like adjustments, if you're Edmonton, like what needs to change and what can they improve on to maybe?
I mean, you even hear when McDavid's talking to the press, he's like, you know what, we're not at our best. Okay, but Florida's not letting you be at your best. There's not a team in the league that can move the puck as efficiently as they need to avoid the forecheck of the Florida Panthers. Mm-hmm. And you can do it in spurts. Toronto's done it in spurts. Edmonton's done it in spurts. But you cannot consistently do it over the course of a series. And that's the key to Florida's success. If you can find a way to put a clog into that forecheck, that's your best bet. How to do that, I don't have that answer.
Yeah, you'd be making millions.
I will say this. Game 4 will be interesting from the perspective of how Edmonton responds immediately, because I am a firm believer that good teams, momentum doesn't carry game to game. So if Edmonton is a good team, I think this game is done. It's over. It happened, and they move on. That's what Florida does every single time. Like when they were down. They were at one point down 3-1 to the Maple Leafs in Game 3 and down 2-0 in the series, and they did not look any different than they did. They didn't look any different than they did in period 3 of Game 6. They look the same. 100%. So Edmonton, if they bounce back like that game didn't happen, this series is going 7. I will literally tell you right now it's going 7.
I mean, the last 7 postseason games these teams have faced, Edmonton's up 4-3.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's.
Sorry. You're continuing from last year. Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a fair statement. No, like these two teams are clearly very even. That's why the blowout is so shocking. Like,
let's look at what got Edmonton those wins early on last year. McDavid said, "Hop on, boys. I'm filling the net." I
mean, no, that's not been this year. That's not been this year. They've had a ton of depth scoring. They've got. I think don't they have like 10 or 11 different forwards with goals?
12,
like I believe. So literally like 4 lines worth chipping in. Like it's not just McDavid and Draisaitl. Yes, McDavid and Draisaitl are leading the playoffs in points. Yes. They are good. They are by a lot. Yes. They're doing what they're expected to do. They're doing what superstars do at these times a year.
Don't even say superstars. They are just
yes, 2 of the best players on the planet. That is correct.
They have 20 forward. They have 20 different players that have scored a goal this postseason.
But that's defensemen as well.
That is correct. I can do 1, 2. Keep talking. I'll let you know.
So where was I saying? Oh yes, momentum. So I don't think this game matters as much as people might expect it to necessarily, just because of the way they lost. Like I said, the way they lost that's a rough loss. It really is a rough loss. But how the Oilers bounce back will be very telling. Very, very early on, I expect, again, like period 1 of game 1, McDavid was the best that might be the best period of hockey I've ever seen somebody play. Like he was killing penalties. He was all over the ice. I don't remember if he had a goal, but I know he had 2 assists.
14 forwards, by the way, for the Edmonton Oilers.
Even more.
Yeah.
See, that's depth, man. That's friggin' depth. How many teams in these playoffs can say they have 14 different forwards that have a goal?
I think Florida is the only other one.
Florida. I bet you it's only Florida.
And I'll double check that.
But no, yeah, you're right. It was a statement game. It's just one win. But the way it happened, it's just a statement game. It gets people talking. People get put under the microscope of why they were great, why they struggled. That's all it is.
Edmonton
game 4 is still game 4.
Exactly. That's what I think I would focus on if I'm, trying to build the narrative to the next game, whether I'm the Oilers or the media, whoever. I think that I'm trying to focus on the fact that these games don't carry momentum if your team is good.
Yeah.
If your team
12
is bad,
for Florida, by the way.
12. There you go. Like that's depth, man. That's depth.
Yeah. I just to answer my earlier question, by the way, I believe it's a can't lose for Edmonton because I don't think you can go back. I don't think you can go back to Edmonton down 3-1. I don't think it's a must win just yet, but it's definitely a can't lose. So
the day I understand the difference between those two things will be the day I die. Like,
okay. Is Edmonton in trouble the rest of the series? Even take into account, obviously, if they don't win. Actually, take into account if they win game 4, are they in trouble? And if they lose game 4, are they in trouble?
Well, if they lose, they're in trouble. You're down 3-1. That doesn't mean that they should be worried, but that's definitely troubled waters.
You could probably be worried if you got to win the next 3 to win the cup,
which they've done. They've won 3 in a row against that team. Like I said, they're not necessarily dead in the water, but the buoy in the ocean's probably a good 200, 300
It gets a little further away.
Yeah, it seems like it's drifting away. Yeah, it seems like it's not. Yeah,
for sure.
Towards you.
So the only bright spots I really had for Edmonton, obviously other than winning game 1, Evan Bouchard is playing pretty well in this Stanley Cup final. He became the first defenseman in Stanley Cup finals history to register 3 points in a single period twice. I believe it's been done. It's been done 4 total times, but he's the first defenseman to do it. He had 3 total points in a period in game 1 and in game 2. He did. I believe he had a point in game 3 as well. And then obviously for the Oilers side of things, we got to see a little. It's hard to say this, but you got to get something from McDavid. You got to get a little bit more than what you got in game 3 because I don't think you really got anything.
No.
And I think it's the first time. It's the first time this postseason Leon Draisaitl has been scoreless or pointless on the road, one or the other. So that's pretty insane. On McDavid, though, he became the 3rd player in NHL history with 3 30-point postseasons. Only 2 other gentlemen to do it. Obviously, Wayne Gretzky, he did it 6 times. And then Mark Messier has done it 3 times as well. So
only in an Oilers sweater.
His teammate, Gretzky's teammate, Mark
literally.
Messier.
So pretty good company there. My question too, if you're Edmonton and you're worried, are we worrying about Bob heating up? Because Bob has been playing really well, even though he gave up, 5 goals in game 1 and then 4 more in game 2. But he became the first goalie in NHL history to begin a Stanley Cup final with back-to-back 40 save performances. And he was also 32 of 33 in game 3. So right now he is carrying a .928 save percentage. And he's also had the second most saves through 3 games in Stanley Cup finals history at 116 total. Only person that's ever been better was Tuukka Rask in 2013 with 120. So if you're Edmonton, do you worry about Bob just taking over the series? Because he's going to probably – he hasn't even stolen a game yet.
He's already taken over the series compared to what the other goaltenders have done to Edmonton.
Okay. We'll kind of knew that coming in, though. The biggest edge in this series has –
let's look at this way. How great was Ottinger before the Edmonton series?
Yeah, he's
probably Edmonton blew through him.
Yeah.
Wow. Did they blow through him or did they blow through Pete DeBoer? Who's to say?
I think Pete DeBoer blew through Ottinger.
I don't like our choice of words here, but I understand what
Nice.
But now you have a goaltender that can handle the wave after wave of offense that the Oilers provide.
Yeah.
Bob's like, bring it. I got you guys. These skaters in front of me, they're going to score on you.
Yeah, Bob's trying to blow through the Oilers.
Nice. He's trying to dig him down, if you will. Other question too: do we think the unders will ever hit in this series? Because we've had 7 goals in game 1, 9 goals in game 2, and then 7 again in game 3. So we ride the over because the overs hit every game.
I would need to know exactly. Is it 6.5? Because probably not. But if it's 5.5,
I think
maybe.
I think it's been. I think game 1 was 6. I believe it was like 6 on the dot.
If it's 5.5, I'd lean yes. But anything 6 and up, I squint at. I don't know if I want that.
Graham, you're our overs homer. What do you? I mean, you're like the one that's always telling us to take the overs.
I like the overs. I still don't trust Skinner, so I think that Edmonton's net can always have 3 or 4 put up before the empty netter.
Yeah.
And Bob's, he can't play perfect every time, or I wouldn't bet on him playing perfect every time. You look at last year, how incredible he played to start the Stanley Cup final. Everyone was thinking Conn Smythe. Then McDavid hopped off on his 4 or 5 point games.
McDavid said, "Hold my beer,"
and it was a different story. So yeah.
Do you go to Pickard after that performance?
I mean,
do you go?
Him and Skinner, I think, have the same amount of wins in this postseason. So
I'm not saying which one I would do. I'm asking you guys. I don't know what I do. It's an interesting thought process.
I think that Skinner's given them a chance to win 2 out of the 3 games. And that's pretty good. You know, you have a bad game, it happens.
Oh man,
I think I'd probably go back to Skinner, but it's not like it's.
I think
it's not like I'm. It's not like I'm super convinced that he's going to get me this win.
Welcome aboard.
Well, I mean, Edmonton has never been like one to lean on their goalie to win them games anyway. They're not built that way. They're built to score, to just basically outscore their opponent. They're not built to like stop their opponent from scoring. But I mean, to your point though, they can't go down 3-1. They have to win game 4, in my opinion, in my professional estimate.
You said it's can't lose.
It is a can't lose, which leads me to believe that.
Now you're saying they got to win.
Also a can't win.
So they can't lose game 4, which means Pickard needs to be in net. That's my point.
How do you? What?
Yeah.
You know what? No, I don't want the logic. I don't want the logic. I don't want the logic.
I don't need a headache for the rest
I'm getting a headache thinking about it.
Over under for game 4 is at 6.5, by the way. So just to let you know,
I would take the under.
You're taking the under. Okay. Well, the ice didn't look any different though, because one of the guys on the broadcast was talking at the end of game 3 that the ice might be a little, or at the end of game 2 going to Florida, that the ice might be a little crappier in South Florida, but it didn't seem to make too much of an impact in the game, to be honest. But that could have been just because the game got away so quickly. But just a couple other like quick, fun facts here. Marchand and Sam Bennett became only the second pair of teammates in NHL history to open a Stanley Cup final series with a goal streak of 3 games or more, joining Steve Payne and Dino. Oh man, Casillarelli.
We'll say yes.
Yeah, that was the Minnesota North Stars in 1981. So it's been a minute since that's been done. And then Bennett is also the first Panther in franchise history to score a goal in 4 consecutive playoff games. So as far as the rest of the series, fellas, gun to your head, you have to tell me who's going to win this series. Who would you lean on?
Got to stick with Florida.
Then 6, 7, 5?
I want to see 7 again.
Florida 5. That's not my thing.
I mean, hey, come on, Cody. Cody the other night said Florida in 5. He put it out there.
A little tongue in cheek. I don't know if you're directly quoting him here.
They're not out of wood yet.
A little tongue in cheek. My heart says Edmonton. My head says Florida. I don't know.
What does the rest of your body say?
Yeah, what's your toe say? What's your big toe say? Are we looking at your toe, or?
I did look at my toe.
Okay, so you look down, so I don't know.
I need to cut my toenails.
No, okay.
That's what this segment has taught me. I need to cut my toenails.
I'm with you. I think Florida. I think Florida just looks so dominant. I think their physical presence is just like I don't know. That forechecking, to Graham's point, it's gonna be really hard to beat.
They are an anaconda when they get like. And they just suffocate you, strangle you till your bones break, and then eat you alive.
Yeah,
that is the definition.
They trap the forwards on for like 1.5 to 2 minutes at a time. Yeah, on the ice, they do not let you change if you do not get a clean breakout.
Yeah,
Edmonton's been bad in the second period too on the long change. Like not even just this series.
Yeah, but it's also
playoffs in general.
By Florida's forward.
I know, but even just in these playoffs, like if you go look at their like splits between first, thirds, and then second periods, like they are getting crushed.
And when you think about how important speed is to their game plan, that is how the Florida Panthers have contained them.
Yeah,
well,
they're gassed. They can't get out of their zone.
And that was the only time Toronto really had success against Florida is when they could break out of the zone, because even Toronto struggled. And
Toronto didn't have success against Florida. Shut up.
Yeah, they're the only team. Okay, I was going to say they're the only team to beat them. I think twice this postseason. Back-to-back games.
Games 5 and 7. I will literally punch you in the mouth.
All right, so we've picked our teams. Do we have a Conn Smythe prediction? Just to let you know, too.
You know mine.
Sam Bennett is right now the favorite, the leader in the clubhouse at plus 160. Connor McDavid is plus 240. Brad Marchand is plus 450. You've got Bob at plus 500. Draisaitl at plus 1,200, and then Sasha or Alexander Barkov at plus 4,000. So, Brock, we know you're going Sam Bennett. You're taking the homer. So
I'm going to say like the Draisaitl at plus 1,200. That's pretty good value. Like there's a world where he has like in these next 4 games where he's got like 7 goals or something obnoxious like that. There's a world where that happens. That's not impossible.
Okay, Graham.
So if you're looking for value,
I want to wish this into existence here. I want Brad Marchand to be handed the trophy by Gary Bettman.
Nice. I've mentioned it in our group chat multiple times. You guys keep ignoring me.
Why?
Because of how much of a headache I'm sure Marchand's been to Bettman with his bullshit.
I hope he instead of shaking his hand, I hope he licks him.
Hey, speaking of licking, did you see how the blizzards worked? They probably had a blizzard in between game, in between periods.
I hope he accepts the trophy with a blizzard in his hand and then licks Gary Bettman's face.
How Brad Marchand and Dairy Queen don't have like a commercial out
They do.
right now?
Well, they don't have a commercial. They partnered. Apparently they did partner.
They definitely should. Somebody in the PR team needs to be on that immediately. If not,
I'm not kidding. I believe Friedman said that on his podcast or something like that.
Nice.
They partnered. They're doing something.
100% they should be.
Yeah, they should.
I'm going with Connor McDavid, by the way, because he started the series at plus 120. He started the series at plus 120. Plus 120 to win it. He's all the way up to plus 240 now. So you talk about good odds or good
I like
value.
Draisaitl over McDavid. I think goals matter more.
Just from a value perspective, I think that Draisaitl is a better pick.
That's fair. I mean, I'm
People
not going
remember goals.
Can't argue
Golden
that.
goal, maybe.
Yeah, but also the legacy. Like everybody knows Connor McDavid's name, and if the Oilers can win, they're just going to automatically.
He already has a Conn Smythe. He's already got one.
Yeah, and they didn't even win.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Exactly. Okay. Anyway. Oh man. All right. Well, we'll look forward to Game 4 tomorrow night, and obviously the rest of the series. Hopefully, we can get another episode in before the series is over. Knock on wood, and it goes that far. But we do have to get negative on this podcast, guys. It's one of our favorite times of the episode here. It's time to be in the bin. Who we put in the bin? So this is sponsored by Warlord Beard Oil. Make sure to check out warlordbeardoil.com. Use the promo code OldSports for 15% off beard oils, washes, soaps, and more. Any orders over $75 will get you free shipping. Make sure to let them know that your friends between the benches sent you over, and that is warlordbeardoil.com. Graham, who are you putting in the bin?
The Oakland Athletics.
Man.
All right, I'll go into a little bit more detail here. So their record as of May 14th was 22-20. So they're really
500.
good. 500. Yeah. Their record as of June 10th, less than a month later, 26-42. And at one point, their team had gone 1-20 in a 21 game stretch.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I don't know if a bin is deep and dark enough to justify where they are right now.
In that bin, though, I'll tell you that.
And they lost last night. It's another 26-43. They lost in 10 innings last night.
God.
Yeah, and they still don't have a city because they're not in Oakland anymore.
How
They're
do
gonna
you
be moving
go
to Vegas.
500?
They're always the Oakland Athletics to me.
Okay.
What?
How do you not have a city? Where do you play?
They're literally just called the Athletics right now. I googled it. Yeah. So
wait, where do they play?
The rumors they're supposed to be going to Las Vegas at some point. Yeah, that's the rumor. But yeah, they've definitely they had a little bit of promise coming into the season. Then they showed it a little bit, to your point, and then the wheels have just completely fallen off of the bus. They're gone. Yeah, they're gone. Brock, I hate to keep you awake, but who are you putting in the bin this week?
I hate you. I am going to put the woman that poured beer on Kasperi Kapanen in the bin because, like, to your point, I don't think it's going to be $17 in Florida, but like that's expensive beer, lady. Like, what the fuck? Like, you shouldn't be doing this at all ever. Like, we do not condone this behavior. That is just silliness. You're always going to be put in the bin. You can get banned for shit like that, man. Like
You should be.
you shouldn't
Honestly.
do that. You shouldn't do that. No, you will be if you do stuff like that. At least in Toronto, like you throw your jersey on the ice in Toronto, permanent ban. You'll never see a Leafs game again. They will find you. You're on camera, and they will ban you. But whoever this lady is, you're in the bin. Kasperi Kapanen's been just really, really good. Used to be a Leaf.
Yeah.
He finally turned into the player he needed to be. He's a dick now, and I hate it. He just runs around and he's a dick.
He had to take over Zach Hyman's place. $13 for a beer at the Florida's game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna be 17. That feels like Canada prices. Like feels a bit ridiculous.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yes.
Okay. Good bin. Good bin. Yeah. We don't waste beer. That is like the number one rule. My mother taught me that at a very young age. We don't waste beer. And so
Dalton was in the womb.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that is I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's funny. Anyway, I'm putting Jake Woolman in the bin. He was fined $5,000 for roughing on Matthew Tkachuk. And the funniest part was he was fined an additional $5,000 for literally squirting water on the Florida Panthers bench in the middle of the game. I almost think he got fined just because whoever's broadcasting the game in between the benches, I almost think it was Ray Borg. He was like trying to protect all the TV equipment because I guess the water was getting all over like his teleprompter or like the telestrator or whatever. So yeah, that's the most expensive water splash of all time, I'd have to say.
One of.
It's a common fine when people spray other players with water.
Nice.
Like that's not out of the realm of reality.
Gotcha. But yeah. So he's literally in the bin. And he,
two-handed slashing is 2-minute minor.
Yeah.
So you can two-hand a guy in the hands, 2-minute minor. These things are equivalent. These things are the fine is worse technically. Say by their rules.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's $10,000 he's out. So
fucking stupid.
It is. It's very silly. But yeah, Jake Woolman in the bin. Sorry about it. And that was in the bin. That was brought to you by our friends at Warlord Beard Oil. Make sure to use that promo code Old Sports for 15% off with warlordbeardoil.com. And Brock can check out the baby oil selection as well. But we are going to shift into the positive side of things here. We're going to hand out the C. This is brought to you by SeatGeek. Our friends over at SeatGeek. Make sure to check out the SeatGeek app and use that promo code Old City Sports Network for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's Old City Sports Network is the promo code for $20 off your first purchase, courtesy of our friends at SeatGeek. Brock, Big Canada Daddy, who are you giving your C to this week?
This will be the easiest C I've given out all year.
I can't see every time, and I know it's coming.
Connor McDavid has officially passed Alexander Ovechkin in career postseason points at 148 to Ovi's 147. It only took McDavid 69 fewer games, though. Ovi has 161 playoff games to McDavid's 92. Now, that is great and crazy in and of itself. This is an interesting thought exercise. Do you know who leads the NHL in all-time playoff points? Don't overthink it.
Current, like active player?
No. Of all time.
Okay. Wayne Gretzky.
Yes. Do you know how many?
A lot.
It is a lot. 382 to be specific in 208 games. So almost 400. Can you name the other 4 in the top 5? And there's a reason I'm asking this.
Mark Messier.
Mark Messier would be correct. He is number 2 at 295.
Okay.
Number 3.
Yager. Is Yager?
Yager is number 5. Yager is number 5. Yep, Yager's number 5.
Crosby?
Nope.
You're asking the stats department. I'm already ahead of you, so I don't want to guess anymore.
Okay. So Graham, number 3 at 233 is Yari Curry. And then number 4 at 214
I see what this
is Glenn Anderson. Do you know what 3 of those 4 players have in common?
I do.
They play for the Oilers?
No, they played with Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, okay.
But 4 of them were the Oilers.
And 4 of them were the Oilers.
Yeah.
You have to go to 5th on the all-time playoff points list to get to somebody that didn't play with Gretzky. Now, to your credit, Crosby is tied with Yager in 28 fewer games. So you might give the edge to Crosby there, considering he hopefully plays more playoff games. Fingers crossed. God, I
Come
wish
on, Colorado.
I wish they trade him. Yeah, I wish they trade him.
Yeah, they're not.
But I just thought that was really interesting when you look at now 382 is crazy for Gretzky, but the other three being his teammates, I thought was
okay. But you
fucking
also
crazy.
say Gretzky because I mean, yes, he got them there, but the team also has more playoff games played than most other teams.
Sure, but like when I look at like if you go down to say Paul Coffey at 7, also Gretzky's teammate, hilarious. If you go to number 9, Joe Sakic, he's got 172 games played, so he's only played about 30 less than those Oilers. Those Oilers guys, they all averaged around 200, 230 games played, give or take. Those Oilers players. So Sakic at 170, he's only played a little. Now, if he had played more, he probably dips into the top 5. If he had played like 30-ish more games in his prime, that's fair to say. I just thought it was really interesting how, you know, 4 of them were all on the same team in the top 5, and now you've got McDavid, who doesn't even have 100, and he's almost in the top 30. 100 games played, 100 games played, and he's almost in the top 30. Yeah. He's only a few back of Marchand.
He's tied for 33rd, and he hit Marchand's at 156, and McDavid's at 148.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's a world where he passes Marchand in this playoff run. Like, there's a world. It's not impossible. He's only like 7 back.
I can't believe Nikita Kucherov at 171. He's tied for 20th. That's crazy.
I can believe that. Kucherov's been fantastic in the playoffs.
Yeah, and think about all the disappearance he's done since like
lately
too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's disappeared. He's still that high.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So so McDavid, I always want to try to respect the GOATs while you're watching them play. Yeah. Like don't look back on them like, oh, they really were that good. No, enjoy it now. He's really, really good at hockey, and we will exclamate that every single time we can.
Sure. That is honestly, that's like professional analysis you just did there. McDavid is really good at hockey. Yeah,
I could not have. You're welcome. That is my
way to convince.
Yeah, yes. He's really,
if you didn't
really
know, now you know.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, now you know. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Well, Graham, who are you giving your C to? Good to see you, Canada Daddy. Good to see you.
Someone who you can argue is better in the playoffs than McDavid,
nice.
Just because they are higher up on the list. We talk about him a lot on this podcast. The more and more that Florida goes on their run, Brad Marchand.
Oh yeah.
For so many reasons, I'll listen to start. But he is the first player in NHL history to score an OT winner and then a goal in the opening minute of the next game. He's the oldest player to score in the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup final, age 37. Yep. He's the first player to score an OT and a shorthanded goal in the same Stanley Cup final game. He has the most Stanley Cup final goals of all active players and most Stanley Cup final goals in the salary cap era. Brad Marchand.
And Boston got rid of him.
The one we all love to hate.
Stupid.
Unless he's wearing the same sweater as you.
Yeah. Or a Canadian.
You forgot the most important stat. Leafs killer. That's the most important
stat. I have another fun stat too. I forgot to bring this up earlier. When you're talking about Sam Bennett, do you know that Sam Bennett has the same amount of goals in this postseason run as Austin Matthews does in the last 5 years?
I do now.
Okay, well, I'm just making sure. Yeah, I was gonna say you're talking about Leafs killer, so
it's okay. The Leafs will sign him for 12 million. The Leafs will sign him for 12.
Nice.
Oh
nice.
Man!
All right. Well, I will. I will keep the Florida trend continuing.
I do now.
I've got 2 C's. The first thing I'm going to go with is Nate Schmidt, and we did kind of mention him because you were talking about how the last episode with Mike. Shout out to Mike again, by the way, for joining us. But you're talking about how the team lost Montour, and Nate Schmidt was kind of the guy that filled in for Montour. Shoes kind of got slated into that spot. He is the first defenseman since 1967, 1968. He is currently tied for the second longest assist streak by a defenseman to open a Stanley Cup final series. He tallied a helper in all 3 games, and he's trailing only Brad Stewart, Stefan Pearson, and Dennis Potvin. Potvin, who had 4 straight games. So if
there's only one name on that list I knew, and you almost mispronounced it.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if he gets 1 more assist, if he can get an assist in Game 4, he will tie that assist streak record. And then I can't believe we didn't mention this before, but Paul Maurice, he is getting the C. Obviously, great coach, but he became the 3rd coach in NHL history to win 1,000 games, regular season and playoffs combined. He joined Scotty Bowman and Joel Quenneville. To break it down, he had 409 total victories with Carolina, 76 with Toronto, 331 with Winnipeg, and 184 with Florida, which is crazy because he's only been with Florida for 3 years now, 2 or 4 years maybe. So just insane. Yeah, 3 years. Insane. So he's averaging over 60 wins a season with them, basically. Which
is that good?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, I'd say. So Paul Maurice getting the C, just hitting that D, making sure they got nothing left.
Pound that D.
Yeah. Pound that D, baby. That's right. So, well, that's fair enough. Well, that was getting the C, brought to you by our friends over at SeatGeek. Make sure to check out SeatGeek and use that promo code Old City Sports Network for $20 off your first purchase. Go ahead.
Should we put Graham in the bin and then give him the C
you know what? I did think about that as I was
subsequently bin then C.
Yeah, like you're in the bin for missing the 5-pin, but then you're also getting the C for handing everybody Jello shots after missing that 5-pin.
I think you deserve both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's well
earned.
That
constitutes. Yeah.
Yes. That tracks.
Oh man.
Way better than your Sam Bennett stat and Austin Matthews, I'll tell you that. Way better than that stat.
Oh man. Shout out to Ginger too for being the first person in the group chat to bring that up. I just thought that was irony. I just thought that was really funny too. Yeah.
It was very funny. I was working, so I had my AirPods in. So it was just Siri reading this. Andrew Allen has sent a Twitter post to the group chat with a message saying, "I'm now not the only one to miss a 5-pin on national television." To which my dumbass said, "Oh, Kyle Troop missed a 5-pin." Pulls out phone. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh man. Well, fair enough. Anything for the road? Do we have anything to end her out here?
Graham missed a 5-pin. On national television.
On national television.
1 for 2. Better than
That's true. That is true. That is true. 1 for 2.
Okay.
Jokes were made last night at the Quinny Challenge. I will tell you that. When 5 pins were left, jokes were made.
Oh God, you're don't faw it up. You know what I'm saying?
Don't faw it up. Yeah.
Anyway, you're falling all over yourself. Anyway, all right, I could do this all day. All right. Well, we are the Between the Benches podcast from myself, Dak, my esteemed colleagues, Graham 5-pin missing Graham Fa, and Big Candy Brock Finch. We will see you next time. And like I said, we hope to have another episode while the Stanley Cup Finals are going on. And we shall see you then. And that concludes this week's episode of Between the Benches. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and check us out on YouTube. Also hit the like and subscribe button and look out for the next episode. Until next week, you Harley Riders.
Doc, what a fitting ending! This is incredible!